That was on me, guys. No maniacs. I'll take all the heat for that one. That was on me. Stay
What are you
tuned. Either way.
doing?
Just go ahead and hit it again. I can't. I got it. Don't worry about it. Yo, no maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all bears all the time, in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the Superback down there in the corner, Mr. Sean Sierra, man. Hey, listen, I'm feeling a certain kind of way today, man. This football season is just like right there, man. It's right there, Sean. And I'm telling you, I feel a certain kind of way. It's a certain level of anticipation that's going on. There's a certain level of it's just I know it's right there around the corner. And all you football addicts like me, like myself, I know you're feeling the same way, man. Camp is right around the corner. Guys are starting to ramp up, getting ready for this camp. And Sean doesn't know this is coming, but Sean, you guys have to remember, has played pro football. And he has gone through a pro football camp. And so he would know, what someone would be doing right about now, what the beginning of a camp is like, the introduction, the class work before you get the pads on and go on the field, installs and all that kind of stuff. And I plan on asking him about all of that stuff, and whatever you can tell us in detail would be helpful to kind of give you guys a picture of what's about to be going on. But before we get into all of that, sometime, I don't know, maybe Sunday, maybe Alex Shapiro will come on. I know he's coming on soon, but he's going to come on with some camp information, some updates. Of course, we're going to get Braggs back on whenever he's feeling a little bit better. And that's in the next couple of upcoming shows. One of them will be Sunday, I'm pretty sure. But with that being said, man, excitement is how I feel right about now, man. Football season is right here. Kids, man, I'm just jacked up, man. And I don't say that to be saying it. I'm jacked up, really. And I need to calm myself down.
We're getting closer and closer. Almost there, y'all. Almost there, no maniacs. Man, I'm super stoked as well, just to sort of go through all this and go through it with my guys here as well as you guys out there in the world, right? I haven't felt this optimistic about a Chicago Bears season in a really long time. I'm not sure if I'm talking out of school here, but I'm very optimistic, and it has everything to do with the shifts they've done on the offense. And I've never seen anything look like this on paper for this team. So I just can't wait to see what it actually materializes as. And I'm sure we'll get into some of this as we get a little bit deeper today. But one of the things out there is that a rookie quarterback has never won more than 6 games in the NFL. Have y'all seen our schedule? Because I kind of feel like he's not only going to break that record, but he's going to put the league on notice, and his entire team will. So I'm happy. I'm hyped to go through all this with my guys here, man. Just give a little bit of love to you guys as we go through, as we always do. Cornelius Squalls, No Maniac number 3. How you doing, my brother? What's happening to my guy, the Plankster, number one, no maniac? The Nodge is out there. It's Crimson. Yadig is out there. Mr. Mayhem. Squeegee's with us. Ilney MCG's with us. Jason's down with us. Claws up, he says. Who else we got? Oh, Evie Bear Down Davis is holding it down with us today. Juku off the hub is with us today. I butchered that, Juku, but you know who you are. Shout out to you. Shout out to Joseph Archer and Thomas Gage. Anyone else I'm missing? I think we'll get to you guys later on in the show. But as it stands, let me get it up. Let me pass it down to my guy, the Superback. Superback, what do you got to say, my brother? Uh-oh. Here's what he got to say.
What is going on, my people? Man, it's good to see you. Good to talk. Man, I'm fired up. You know, coming at you guys once a week is difficult. Well, twice. Once with you guys and then once on my show, which is tomorrow. But, man, there's a lot going on in sports. A lot going on. I'm excited about what's coming up with the Bears season. I got about 3 weeks before it kicks off. And, man, I can't wait for that. Can't wait to see if we sign anybody. Man, I'm just glad to be talking Bears football with people. Well, for me, twice a week. It's good because we just build up a lot of different things from the week that happens, from the things that happen during the week, and we go from there. So I'm excited, anxious, and what did Mills, the referee? Let's get it on.
Mills Lane.
Mills Lane. There you go. Good looking out.
The OG.
The OG. Let's go, Brian.
Welcome, No Maniacs and Sports Owners. Glad to share another afternoon with you. I got a couple of shout outs that I want to give. One, Greg Braggs. I haven't seen him on my timeline. I hope everything's all right. I know the last that I heard from him, he was going to maybe go to a doctor, see how his knee was, because I guess it was swelling and he couldn't bend it. So let's send some good vibes his way. And also, this is not football or Bears related, but it is sports related. And I think we all enjoy all sports. Good vibes to Dick Vitale. I guess he just underwent his, second cancer operation. Hopefully it's been successful. But again, send prayers and good vibes to him. I always got a kick out of him. And to piggyback what Ked started out with, being a Bears fan for as long as I have, I don't remember too many teams that was this balance on both sides of the field. That usually if the offense, the few years that they had a good one, the defense was old. Or the defense always carried the offense for many years. This year, it's balanced, it's young. You got veterans at the positions, and you got young guys that could be pushing the veterans. So, to wake them up and get them going. So, like everybody on this panel, I'm extremely excited and chomping at the bit for training camp to start. And who is it that we're going to, be talking about the most? Who gets our attention? And that's the whole purpose of this show. It should be fun and interesting. Take it away, Nomad.
Yeah, Evie said send some good brags to some good juju to Braggs and good juju to Dick Vitale, man. That guy made it so exciting to watch college basketball in a way that you don't know that you're enjoying the game as much until you listen to a broadcast that he's a part of, man. So you're talking about a jewel and a great, what do you want to call him, spokesman or whatever you call that. But man, Dickie V is exciting to listen to. I never was excited as I was to watch college basketball than I was watching and listening to a broadcast he was part of. So thank you for that, Brian. But yeah, I'm gonna pick on Bragg. Go ahead.
Before you go too deep, I have a ridiculous sideways Dick Vitale story. So like I was hunting for a job or trying to transition out of a job. I was working in the technical realm. And, I sent my resumes out to a bunch of folks, and this headhunter hits me up. And when he hits me up, his voice is exactly like Dick Vitale. I was like listening to Dick Vitale on the phone. So I'm like, this is just this is just too uncanny. And I kind of doubled back. He introduced himself. Hi, my name is Frank. Da, 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 da. And he just got this like, again, the exact same New Yorker accent as Dick Vitale. And I'm like, this. Anyhow, I go through. We have some conversations. We're talking about technical stuff, and he's a headhunter, a recruiter out of New York City. And after I start to look at that, I check out his name. His name is Frank Vitale. Crazy story is I was headhunted and offered a job by Dick Vitale's brother. Anyways, that's my little silly sideways story about Dick Vitale. It was just an interesting little thing for me, and I had to check. I was like, bro, like, are you Dick Vitale's brother? He's like, oh yeah, that's my brother Dick. He's the best. You know, I get to go to see games for free all the time. You wouldn't have met. And he just kind of ran it down the line. Anyways, that's my Dick Vitale story. It's a ridiculous one, believe it or not. Same token, more importantly, our guy Braggs, heal up, bro. Heal up, bro. Sorry to hear about all that, that elevator action. 80s reference for you.
Escalator.
I've been waiting all weekend to use the elevator action reference. In any event, Braggs, heal up, brother. We love you, yes. And we'll get you back over here when you have the opportunity.
Hey, so Braggs, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. You know, I love you, man. We do wish you speedy healing for real, but you've been laying all them bricks for all them years. Now you done got soft since you got over on CHGO. Man, come on now, Braggs, man. Stop being a wimp. Come on, get on the show, man. Wrap that thing up and tough it out, man. Don't be talking shit to players when they standing on the sidelines and they limping around a little bit, man. Get your ass on the show and do what you're supposed to do. But that being said, hey kids, get that thing ready because we're pretty excited about a branch off from the Nomad Network. Like I say all the time, man, I'm always pushing our guys to, expand. We always want to grow and evolve, and that's what's happening right now with my man Kids over there. And the Canuck has a new broadcaster we're about to bring to you very soon. Go ahead and show them, Kids.
God, I love that graphic. It's
so we need involvement, people. We need involvement. So we're gonna hopefully this weekend, right, kids? We'll get together and have avenue for you guys to go and sign up. Have a place for you guys to go and sign up and be a part of what he's doing here, man. We already got some good feedback in the comment section from the last show from I'm thinking the Deuce. I think was one of them. The Deuce one, I think. And then I remember right off the top of my head, it was him, King Buka World. I don't know if King's in the chat or Deuce is in the chat, but hey, looking forward to you guys. I think Kids wrote you guys' names down. And so by this weekend, by Sunday, we'll have an avenue for you guys to go ahead and sign up. But I'm talking too much. Go ahead, Mr. Kedra.
Yeah, fantasy football, y'all. If there's fantasy football fans out there, if you aren't a fantasy football fan and have thought about maybe joining a league, it's an opportunity to do so. Get you guys all in and involved. Have some fun with you. Shout yous out. Make it a real community thing. So that's kind of what we have in store, as well as obviously good football talk for across the NFL, not just the Chicago Bears this time around. Things will be a little bit deeper and different and competitive and fun. We've got some great ideas around what we're going to do and, by way of content. Some of that might look a little bit like this.
Nice.
All right. So this is a good look at what our thumbnails will look like. We have an idea to potentially produce a little bit of short content that's sort of comic book themed and will give you an access to all of the give you information on all of the top performers week on week as we move forward. So should be super fun. I'd love to have fun with you guys as we do this thing, and it'll be an ongoing show. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes open and ears peeled for the Super Flex show. More details to come.
So before we get cutting on this topic, and we're about to get right to it, Sean, I got a beef to pick with you, man.
What I do now?
Man, I got some news Sunday, man, that you hiding information from me, man. How in the hell wouldn't you tell me that Junior is as talented as he is with a pencil in his hand? He showed us some artwork, man, and it was crazy good.
Yeah,
crazy good,
phenomenal.
And I'm like, well, Sean never told me Junior was that talented.
Yeah, what's up with that, Sean? What the heck, man?
I don't remember in our contract saying I had to tell you what my boys do. I remember. I didn't read that part. I didn't read that part.
Rewrite that contract.
You know, I mean, I did just pass hooked on phonics, so it could be in there. I'm just saying I didn't
Maybe
see it.
you missed.
And it's very possible.
Can I borrow that tape?
Man,
hey.
man, Rondo, good to have you with us as always, brother. And,
no, he's Junior. He's Junior. He's not his
I
son's
just caught myself, Junior. Your artwork was awesome. I was happy to share it there yesterday, or sorry, on Sunday's show. Odds are we'll do what we can to maybe incorporate it into the work that we're doing with the Superflex show, because again, there's going to be, because I'm a comic book geek, there's going to be a little bit of a comic booky feel to it all. So I think it works very well.
And by the way, my man Junior and Queen P, just so you know, you guys are welcome to come on the show when you want to, if you want to. I don't know if we ever officially made that invite out to you, but if you feel like doing a podcast one of these days, knowing Junior's a football player, I think that might make some pretty good content if he wants to. But the offer is officially on the table. So if you want to, Junior, man, bring your talents in behind on the show. You and Queen, y'all can always have a place here on the network, man. Join the show if you want to. We'll have a good time with it. But let's kick it off, man. Let's get into some conversation because, look, Sean, let's start here. Or kids, let's start here because the Hall of Fame game is August 1st. And what I think I need to start this conversation this way. And how many snaps should the starters be taking in the Hall of Fame game? I've got my thoughts. I just want to see what you might be thinking and the rest of you guys.
Oh, I don't know, man. I it's hard for me, and positionally, it's hard for me to say. Like I'm gonna start and just zero in on that quarterback position that everybody's interested in. Personally, I feel like he should get as many reps as humanly possible, but at the same time, I don't know how comfortable they are with him. And what I mean by that is if they go through the majority of training camp and they sort of feel that, wait a minute, he might be a little bit ahead of schedule, then maybe he doesn't require all the in-game reps. So, maybe a series or two, maybe a half, right? But I have a strange feeling he's going to play that whole the first game there, the Hall of Fame game. I have a strange feeling. And I think that goes for a lot of these guys, like Dominique Robinson will be on field for a very long time. I feel under the same pretenses that he won't be the starter. I think the starter will probably be Austin Booker unless we sign somebody between now and then. And Austin Booker will get those reps just to see the difference between those two guys. But outside of that, I want Caleb to get as many snaps and get as used to the NFL as possible before September rolls around. Question is, do the Bears brass feel the same way? Sean, what are your thoughts?
I disagree with you, kids. You're going to get him as many reps as possible. I say quarter and a half. I even put him in the whole first half. I don't think they will, but you're getting an extra game. All right, you're getting an extra game. You're getting a rookie quarterback, obviously new system for him, and not necessarily system for the rest of the other guys, new terminology. All right, so I anticipate, I think they're going to play him a minimum first quarter. And if they sit in the first quarter, cool, that's one extra quarter. But I mean, if you give him a quarter and a half, or even quarter to a quarter and a half, or to just the whole first half, those are game reps, and especially if he's doing well and he's grasping it, then you want him to play. All right, because you want him going against live bullets. All right, when you understand that he's got a good grasp of the system. All right, a good grasp. So you got a good grasp. Good. Now let's see you run it out there, because we only get 4 of these. All right, we only get 4 of these, 3 most of the time, but this year we got 4. So I definitely get him out there as much as possible. And for people and everyone who says, well, the injury factor, shut the hell up. All right. You know what? This is a collision sport. Okay. He can get injured in practice. He can go down and tear his ACL stepping wrong on the field or jumping up. You know what I mean? There's so many different things you get injured. Now, I'm not saying play him the whole game. No. But I'm saying you got to get him out there. You got to get him accustomed to the speed of the NFL. You got to get him accustomed to just a different vibe of the NFL. And if you have an extra game, you damn sure better use it. Damn sure better use it because there's an advantage. All right, there's an advantage. You got the number 1 overall pick, quarterback that some people are calling generational. Many people are saying the best prospect in the last 20 years. Okay, fine. Then you know what? And the Bears have done a great job of insulating him so he can be successful. Well, then why wouldn't you continue to give him as many reps as possible? And for me, that'd be the first half of the game, first half of the Hall of Fame game, probably first half of the first couple games. First 2 games and the third game, or I should say the fourth game, game 2 and 3, the first half, and then the fourth game, maybe a series, if that, while everybody else fights for the last 6, 8 roster spots. But give him as much playing time as possible is going to be paramount for him, for this offense, for this team. Brian?
Between the two of you kids and Sean, I would probably lean a little bit towards what Sean is saying, agreeing with that. The only thing, and I mean, this opens up a different can of worms because 1, you got a new offensive coordinator, and 2, because the lack of NFL experience that you have at quarterback, it's going to be a fine line trying to get everybody reps. I mean, we know Caleb is going to be the starter. That's no question there. At the same time, who's going to be the backup? Because you got Bajent, second-year starter, which, no, he didn't set the world on fire, but he wasn't complete trash either. And then
2-2.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he really didn't embarrass himself last year. And you consider the jump, from Division III to the NFL? Gee whiz. I mean, that's a heck of a jump. And I can't think of the kid from Western Kentucky that they got. I'm curious to see him. So, I mean, I would like, and I know there's 4 quarterbacks, but Ripien, he's inexperienced too. I don't want to take anything away from him, but those 3 are the ones that I'm curious about. How do you make sure that you get enough film on them or plays out of them to see who's going to stick on the team and who's not? But for what Sean said, yeah, Williams, he definitely needs at least a half in all 4 of the preseason games.
Okay. You guys all made real good points. Kind of took everything away from me, but I'll frame it this way. And Sean, you'll agree with this, I'm sure. I think when it comes to Caleb, I think it's a you could plan on, because I believe a couple people put in how many snaps that CJ Stroud took in the last season, somewhere between 65 and 70. That's a good barometer to really measure what you need out of Caleb Williams. But also, Sean, instead of putting a number on it, I think it's more of a feel. It's more of just seeing how he's acclimating to the information, how he's responding to it, how the plays are coming off, and how much rhythm he's starting to see. Is the timing right? Is the footwork right on the drops? All the kind of stuff. Is his verbiage right? Is he communicating from the huddle to the getting up to the line in time? All those little things that you want to pay attention to and see if he's got this stuff down and feel it more than look at it. You know what I mean? Just kind of feel where he is and let that be your determining factor of how many snaps this guy plays. So by the time the Hall of Fame game plays out, let's say he goes a half there. Let's say the second game, the first actual preseason game, he goes a half there. And if it's looking good and it's feeling good and you're getting a good vibe off of him, then maybe you think about dialing it back. But if it's not, then you continue down that road of getting him as many snaps as you want, Sean, right? So I think it's more of a feel than it is worrying about counting how many snaps he's got to have, or we can't give him any more snaps beyond this number. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think you really have to feel this, Sean. What do you think?
Well, you can't say because people are going to be, if you don't know football, that you got to give something that's tangible to these jamokes who don't know football. And I mean, well, I need this. I don't know. How come CJ Stroud got the? So you're always going to have people who want to compare CJ Stroud to our quarterback. All right, stop with the comparison. Stop being silly. All right, everything's a feel. Everything is a feel. All right, What does it matter? All right, what we're talking, it's a feel for football. You can, all you gotta do is, if you're a coach, you're looking at you're looking at the players. You're getting a feel for what they're doing. So it's not going to say, oh, well, we need at 70 snaps. Okay, good, we're done. If you don't feel that he's ready, he needs to get more snaps. If you feel as he's approaching at 55 and you see him really having a grasp of it, like you said, Nomad, yeah, then you dial it back a little bit. But it's all a feel. How does he perform? The reason people are going to say 65, 70 snaps, that's what it took for CJ Stroud, for them to feel that CJ Stroud was at a position that they were comfortable with. All right. So what position or what number of snaps are the Bears offensive coaches going to be comfortable with Caleb? We don't know. Okay. So, but just to chill out, everybody, well, why don't you know the number of snaps you want to give him? Well, CJ Stroud played this amount. The last year, this quarterback played this amount. 2 years ago, that quarterback played that amount. Do you want to keep it in line? And I can guarantee you, coaches are like, it's not, just like what you said, like, shut up. It's not about a number. It's about how he processes and understands it. So they just got to give it a number to shut people up. But it's always a feel. It's always a feel.
Smitty Q, I definitely agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I definitely agree with you. I think 65 to 70 is probably a solid ass baseline. And I did hear that they looked at the Texans' approach about Stroud and all. I've seen all that, and it's the right way of thinking. But it does go back to feel. At the end of the day, it does really go back to feel and kind of having a sense of where this guy is and is he where you need him to be. And so that's why I say you don't really want to put stop right here. He's got 65 snaps. He's got 70.
Take him out. No more in preseason. Sorry, he hit the number. No, it's silly.
Yeah, you gotta kind of feel it out, because if it's feeling like he's not quite where he need to be, and we only got one more preseason game before the season starts, then you gotta probably have to leave him out there. And I'll also mention this two fellas. Cornelius rightly brought this up. I don't want to see him out there with the second string offensive line.
No reason whatsoever.
The whole time he's playing, I'm hoping and praying that they have the starting offensive line out there. But I'll pass it to Kids and let him respond to that, and you guys can go at it.
I'll just be frank here. That's really where my headspace was. It's just a feel piece, right? As long as they feel he's ahead, they will choose the appropriate amount of snaps. I want to see them. I'm very interested in what that offensive line looks like as well during those preseason games, how they're gelling, and I think that will tell a lot. Another thing of interest really is we play the Texans a couple of games later, week two in the regular season. So I want to get a little bit of a preview and an understanding of what that game might look like. In my estimation, going through things, that was one of the games that I speculated we may lose. Again, if it's week 2, this is Caleb's second week playing as the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. He's got some work to do. The team's got some work to do. But again, I'm so optimistic, y'all. Like and it's the word that has to be used. Especially given the last couple of seasons that we've had here. I'm very optimistic that these first few games can just be a boon and lift not only this organization, but Caleb as a quarterback and this fan base to a bit of a new place. So I'm super stoked with where we're going, and I just hope they utilize the time right during this preseason, during that Hall of Fame game, to really give Caleb some looks at what the NFL has in store for him in September.
Speak to the offensive line getting as many snaps as Caleb, Sean.
Yeah, there's not even a question. Why the hell would you put a rookie quarterback in with a second string offensive line?
Do not do
Doesn't
it.
make sense. That doesn't make sense. They're not. They can't be that stupid because at that particular point, that's the dereliction of duties, and they need to be fired at that particular point. All right, you don't put a franchise quarterback, the guy that people are saying, well, he's the best quarterback in the last 20 quarterback prospect in the last 20 years. You want to see him. You want to see him be productive behind a second string offensive line. That doesn't make any type of sense whatsoever. So he's going to play that offensive line. I mean, the offensive first team offensive line might play more than Caleb, and I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. I know you got. I know you're going to need guys back. You're going to need backups to get time. But if this is my starting offensive line, then I would have no problem. Maybe they play one more series. So now you look at your backup behind a legit offensive line, because guess what? Your backup is one play away from being with that first string offensive line. So I would say the first team offensive line should have more reps than Caleb. But Caleb's not out there if without his first team offensive line. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's the dereliction of duties. They need to be fired on a spot. Nope.
No question about that, man. It's you gotta one has to be with the other, man. One can't be seen without the other right now under these circumstances.
And how can you assess Caleb though? Nomad, you know what I mean? How can you assess Caleb if whether or not he understands the reads and everything else, if he's with a second team offensive line who's obviously subpar than your first team offensive line. So now he's running this, a lot more than he should. The pocket collapses a lot sooner than it would. So you can't fully assess him with I shouldn't say crappy, with an inferior offensive line. You can't.
Yeah. So just a question and comment in and around that. I'm going to aim it at you, Sean. Like, do you think they'll know what that starting offensive line is going to actually be by then?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hope they will, but I know Davis is potentially in flux. There's flux.
I got 10 million reasons why he's not in flux, but go ahead.
I know Ryan Poles does too, is right. But it might, man.
The only question there, kids, is the center. That's the only question. Is it Bates or is it Sheldon? I think it's Bates. Yeah.
Well, here's where my headspace is, right? So it's that's the question. That's the major question. Might shake out to, okay, so Bates is the guy, and we've got Shelton. We can slide Shelton over to guard. Do we need the $12 million man? Like I think he's amazing at what he does. I'm Shelton, just not sure.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Davis, right? Like, so okay. We can slide Shelton into that right guard position, and that potentially would make Nate Davis, less of a requirement. I'm phrasing that very specifically. You know what I mean? Like that's the real word I was trying to avoid, but you said it, so I'll leave it out there. But it does potentially make him expendable. It's a $12,000 cap hit, no matter what. Potentially, maybe another team out there might be looking for a guard and desperately needs one.
Why are we talking about firing Nate Davis, man?
I'm just being if you're gonna ask that question, the answer to that question is you don't like to practice. That's all. Right? Like if you got 5 guys on the squad who like to practice and can fit the bill, at least you're going to have cohesiveness, and the dancing bears will sing the same song. And that's the one thing I'm worried about on that one.
There's no need to worry.
Okay.
If you don't think that Davis sees the writing on the wall that he might be gone, if that isn't motivation enough, then he don't deserve to be on the team.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't see that, they got Shelton, he can play, and it actually, and let's keep it a buck. It's better because if Nate Davis doesn't play and wants to be, I don't want to do training camp type BS again. You bench him, you bring Sheldon in, you move Sheldon to left guard and Tevin the right. And now you have the offensive line. You have a legitimate strong side, weak side, strong side. The borrowed phrase from Remember the Titans. All right. You got Tevin Jenkins down all right. Now you don't have to worry about offending a veteran or saying, hey, can you kind of move over? Or, what, Sheldon's a journeyman. He played both. All right. So you know what? I need you to go to left. Tevin, you go to right. Next is down on right. And that is a power side. And if Nate Davis doesn't see it, or the hell with Nate Davis, if his people don't see it and relay that to him, then they're not doing their jobs. But they're like, look, you want to keep playing? You want a job? Hey, you better show up. You better show up and show out, because the best situation, what a lot of people are saying out in social media, move Tevin to right. And if you're not comfortable with being a left guard, then guess what? You better bust your ass in practice. So they keep you at the right guard and keep Tevin at the left.
So, I mean, let me address TT. No, hold on. Let me, because you guys are already in the fire Nate Davis, man.
No, I'm not firing Nate Davis at all.
I am. I'm about to fire him some more before we get to T3P. I'm just saying there's 3 other guards back there besides Shelton, and that includes Karan Amagaji. I'm calling him a guard. He's a left tackle, but he's sitting on a bench and he wants action.
Davis
right?
Gonna be
There's
fine,
competition there, Nate. All I'm saying is and I'm with Sean. There's competition there, Nate. Hopefully you know what's cracking. And
Nate, come on the show. Come on the show and slap these MFers around, man, because I'm tired of them already.
Don't slap me.
Hey, y'all got T3P, my guy T3P. Y'all got him all worried, man. Y'all better cut it out, man. Nate Davis is gonna be fine, man.
Look, Nate, please come on the show and slap me. Please come on the show. I will accept the slap, to be honest with you, because that means you're in it to win it. You're trying to do the darn thing. And that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear you're doing it. You're gonna be at practice and you're gonna crush it, because that's the expectation. Let's just be real. Look at your own film. I don't have to do it. It doesn't have to be anybody else. Nate Davis's film is stellar. Last season, unfortunately, wasn't. I believe he has it in him and he can do it. So let's go, Nate.
Why are people coming having good years and then coming here and then slacking? You got him who slacked. You got Yannick Ngakoue who slacked.
He was
whoa. Don't slander that guy. See, now I'm Nomad. Now I'm Nomad.
He was that before we got him. He
was
the same. He knew Poles knew what he was getting before the guy walked in the door. Everybody's complaining about it, but seemingly behind the scenes, the people that deal with him are okay with it. I think it's us that's doing all the bitching and complaining. I think it's behind the scenes is totally fine, or we know about it kind of. I don't think he's a bigger problem but I think you guys steered y'all lightly steered the conversation to the right place, because center is what I want to talk about first. And the first person that I want to talk about, I think we brought Ryan Bates here to start. I think it's his job to lose. That's what I think. Number one. Number two, another interesting guy that I'm going to be interested to see what happened when the pads come on, because the last couple of years he didn't shine when the pads came on and we had expectations for him, and that's Doug Kramer. Is he going to shine when these pads come on? Is he going to rise, or are we going to look at this guy in the grocery store or on some other team by the time this thing is said and done, kids?
Well, definitely not the grocery store. He's built like if you see him at the grocery store, you can't miss him. You know what I mean? He's built like a brick. Let's be real here. Like, competition on this offensive line is getting a little bit fierce, not necessarily at that center position, but when the center position is solidified, it's going to speak to those other slots, right? So I think Bates is the guy, but I have a feeling that he's going to perform in a similar manner, whether it's at center or at guard. And if that's the case, and Shelton is also good and can perform at the center position, I'm happy. I don't see it being Kramer. I'll be real about this at this point. I don't see Kramer being the center, and the reason for that has a lot more to do.
We're talking about making the team and keeping a roster spot is what we're talking about with Doug Kramer.
Well, even that, right? Like, even that, and I'm going to lead to how we got there, and that is last season. Last season, if he was really in contention for being a center for this team, he would have simply got a couple more reps. Why? Because we had a hurt center and then another hurt center and a bunch of missed snaps. Like, there should have been a lot more opportunity for Kramer to get on the field and do some stuff. But unfortunately, as BT9 is saying, he was also a little bit hurt out there too. So I don't see Kramer really getting reps at center when they're trying to figure out who the best center is between the other two guys. I just don't see it. What makes matters worse is, again, the left and right guard positions where he might be able to slot into are about to become very competitive. That's my thoughts there.
Doug Kramer.
Just talk about he's got a battle ahead of him. All right, you got Shelton who's versatile, can play guard or center. Bates is the starting center, I believe. So you don't need 3 centers, and Bates is versatile. So he better come out and have a phenomenal camp. He better start pancaking people, making all the right calls, making all the right cutoffs on reach blocks, zone blocks. He's got to play his ass off. Period. End of story. Because he could play good, he could play very well, he could play well, and it might not matter. He might even play very well, and it might not matter. But he's got to remember, Bears aren't the only team that he can play for. You know, they cut him. He's got to put good film out there, so other teams say, "Hey, I want this guy over here." You know, he got lost in a numbers game in Chicago, but guess what? I liked his fundamentals. I like his base. I like a lot of different things about this guy. He's got to do that. Will he? Good question. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and find out. Right?
To me, Kramer is a bit of an enigma in the fact that if you remember last year, he got plucked by the Cardinals, and he was there, week, 10 days, something like that. They released him, and the Bears immediately brought him back.
Yeah.
Which to me, all right, maybe they realized, hey, they made a mistake, and luckily they got him. But at the same token, you signed 2 free agent centers. So how much trust do you have in him? So that honestly,
Bro,
if I was
they went out and got Dan Feeney last year too, right in the middle of all of that, when they had the opportunity to use Kramer.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why I don't see Kramer making the team. I mean, practice squad, yeah, sure, possibility. I just don't see him making it. And to backtrack a little bit, my only problem with Nate Davis is, if he's not a practice guy or whatever, what kind of message for a team that wants to go on about the hits philosophy? What kind of message does that send to the other team that, oh, wait a minute, if you don't feel like practicing, you don't get punished? That's my only thing. If he's able to go on the field and ball out, then you can shut up. Okay, he's producing. This is a guy that may not have to practice every day or a lot at practice. He's producing. But I mean, as soon as there's any kind of weakness, that just sends a bad message.
Oh man, I thought we was done with Nate Davis. We was talking about centers. But
you
that's
guys
all
was arguing. I didn't get a chance to say anything.
I'm just messing around with you, Brian.
You know me, Nomad. I want to be loved.
Don't worry about it, man. I'm just messing around with you. No, but as far as Doug Kramer goes, let's read between the lines and we'll move on to another player. So this is the way I read between those lines. Okay, so he ended up on the practice squad. I think you guys said Arizona scooped him up. For whatever reason, he didn't stay on that practice squad long, or if he ended up back on that practice squad and the Bears picked him back up. What is that saying to us as casual observers indirectly? That means to me that they put a lot of work into Doug Kramer. To me, that's the way I see it. You guys might view it differently, but the way I see it is they put a lot into time spent into Doug Kramer, and they may have been seeing some things. I don't know if they may have been seeing the gains that they were looking for, but they went right back. And as soon as they saw him out there again, they went and scooped him, stashed him again. And so what does that mean? All that could mean is, okay, he's there as a valuable piece backup. He has system, knowledge. He knows what we're doing. And for that reason only, we need to keep him on the squad in case we come up short in this department. It could just mean that. But it also could mean that the work put in, and maybe they saw gains in practices, and maybe he was starting to take steps towards being the guy that they drafted him to be. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. I don't think realistically he has a solid chance of making the roster. Does he make the practice squad again is more of the question, I think, with Doug Kramer. And I think with the pads on, the pads off, I think that's the realistic that's a realistic way of looking at Doug Kramer. He's practicing for the practice squad, I believe. And so, with that being said, let's just move on to the guy most people want to talk about is Austin Booker, kids. They want to know what's going to happen with this young, slim collegiate that we got with all this up. I mean, he's got a lot of potential. I mean, a lot of potential. But he's long, he's lanky, he's about 250 some odd pounds. And, the NFL is a different beast. This is a much different beast in college. And people are going to want to know, what this is going to look like for our guy, Austin Booker, who most people, I'm not going to say most people, every Bears fan out here really expects this guy to really show us something. So what do you say about that when the pass come on with Austin Booker, kids?
I'm very excited to see what he really has in store. So I did another deep dive into him over the last couple of days, just sort of looking at his play style, what he's good at, what he's not. The comp for him out there is, believe it or not, Max Crosby. That's the comp. I'm going to agree and disagree at the same time. So the thing that I didn't see from Austin Booker on tape was a lot of effectiveness against the rush. That was, I think, probably his weakest point. Outside of that, he's got a bag of tricks. He's fast and he's got motor. And these are the places where he does kind of compare to a Max Crosby. There's another area where he doesn't, and that's just in overall physical power. Max Crosby is a little bit more of a powerful guy. He does have a bull rush. He can sort of switch between, a speed rush to bull rush and vice versa. And he does it very well. I can see that becoming something that Austin is good at down the road. Like, Austin really reminds me of my kid. Like, he reminds me of my son. They're about the same size. They have very long arms, both very fast. He could get a little bit lower with the bend, a little bit lower with the dip. But I think those things and that power will come over time. He's just going to grow into his frame a little bit more, put a little bit more muscle on him, a little bit more power. And I think we have something in the works here. Like, I really actually do. He's one of those guys who focuses on the speed rush, and at that moment where he would get washed out, just motors his way to the quarterback somehow, whether he's cutting back in, whether it's a spin move back into the center. He's very good at what he does, and I can't wait to really see it on the other side of Montez Sweat, because Sweat's going to command the double teams, and the question is, can he beat his man? I have a feeling that he actually has a bag of tricks to do so. Sean, what are your thoughts on Austin Booker?
I don't think he starts. I still think we got DeMarcus Walker coming in, starting, and
sure.
him rotating and him getting some time. I don't think he starts. I think, he's already put on some mass since the end of the season. So the question is, how flexible and how limber is he with his new added body mass? So if he can stay as limber and flexible as he was before, wow, well, that's definitely changes the narrative of this whole thing, because he was able to bend, he was quick, get underneath guards where they couldn't even put their hands on him. Yeah, it makes sense. I want to see what he's able to do once the pass come on. He's the guy that I definitely want to see. Like I said, I think DeMarcus Walker starts, but man, he's nipping at his heels, right? Because he's a youngster, he wants to play, he knows he's learning the game. He knows he's got a phenomenal D-line coach. So, yeah, I don't think he starts, but I think he gets quite a bit of tick. Brian?
I agree with you, Sean, as far as DeMarcus Walker being a start. Booker is a sentimental favorite of this rookie class for me, for the simple fact he's from Greenwood, Indiana, which is like 10 miles or so from me. Town of about 60,000 people. So compared to where you guys live, that's a small town. With me, I lived there part of 87, part of 88. That is the second largest town I've lived in. But to quote a John Madden, he's able to make himself skinny to get through the line. And I agree 100% with what Sean said. They added weight. I don't see him ever being more than 260. I think 253 is what they got him bulked up as of right now. But like every rookie coming into the league on any team, they don't know what they don't know. And what I mean by that, you're jumping from college to pro. You're jumping in. You haven't played with most of these guys or any of these guys at all. How are you going to fit in, scheme, and with the players and all like that? I'd like to see him get a ton of reps. You already know what Walker is. And honestly, I like Walker being in a 3-tech, but I don't see Booker. I hope I'm wrong. I don't see him being so dominant that he starts ahead of Walker. But I'm sure as hell rooting for the guy, and I think it was a terrific pick, especially getting him where they got him, what, in the 5th round. So best of luck to him, and it is a player that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Take it away, Nomad.
Here's my take on Austin Booker. I know what kind of talent he has. I know what kind of and you know what we're talking about is how do they do when the cream rises to the top, is he included in that conversation when the pass come on? Because like I said, it's a different game. And the one thing I like about this regime, and it seems to be a through line since they've been here, is they really take practice reps as an indicator, how well you do in your practice reps as an indicator into how involved you are in the game plan. And so what I'm going to say to that is, I think Austin Booker is definitely going to have to earn those reps. Whatever reps we know he's going to make the team. We know he's going to play. How much does he play? Sean knows this right away. As soon as I start saying this, in practice reps, when you get in those one-on-one drills, you're in 7-on-7, whatever the drill is he winning his reps? Does he know where he needs to be on his reps? Things that you can see from a coach's standpoint that tells you, okay, I want him to get some reps, but he ain't really winning in practice. So
ready yet?
Yeah,
ready yet.
So those are the kind. Go ahead, Sean. I'll just let you pick it up from there.
Yeah, it's alignment, assignment, attitude. That's it. Those 3 things. It's to break it down the easiest and simplest way. Alignment, assignment, attitude. You know where you're at. You know where you line up. Okay, as a rookie, do you know what your assignment is, and how do you do it? That's it. And if you're checking the boxes in all 3 of those, guess what? You may not start, but your playing time is going to go up very, 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 very consistently. If you can maintain that consistency during practice. Alignment, assignment, attitude. All right, because that's the most important thing. Because, man, if you don't get lined up right, done. Play over. Because you're playing the other team's playing against your 10 because you're not even, you might as well just be off the field. All right. So how does he do it? We're going to find out. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, if you look at tape, the kid's got a nonstop motor.
Right.
And the fact that he was able to go 240, 245 pounds, the 253, that shows he's got some dedication and cares about his career. So, I mean, and then you throw in what Eric Washington can do with him. So, I mean, I know it's a weird phrase or whatever, but literally the sky's the limit for him.
So,
yeah, but you just got to understand. I mean, you can do all those things, and some people it just doesn't transfer.
Yeah,
right. I don't think he's a dude. I mean, you can do everything right. You saw the college tape. Okay, great. You saw the increase in mass in the weight room. Great. He hasn't played against NFL competition yet. So we got to wait and see. We got to wait and see because I'm sure he's in the books. I mean, I guarantee he's in the books. All right, but it doesn't matter. The books don't. When you get out there, what do you do? And if you go ahead, no man.
And I'm going to throw it right back to you. I just want to add on to what you're kind of getting at. And here's how it looks like, for people who never, I only did it in college, so that's as far as I went, but Sean knows, and it's like when you start doing drills and reps, one-on-ones against guys. So he's going to put him up there against Braxton Jones. Okay, let's see how he does with left side technique. Let's see how his skill set matches up against our number one guy. Boom, he goes against Braxton, stalemate. Okay, let's put him over here. Let's throw him against Darnell Wright. Right side technique skill set. Goes over there, gets stalemate. Okay, let's do it again. Put him back over to the left, and he goes against Braxton. And this time he gets an advantage, gets under him, and makes the and wins the rep. Am I right on point when I say he's got to earn them in practice like that and in situations like that, Sean?
Yeah, it's not going to be one play. All right, he's got. I mentioned it earlier. Consistently. All right, he's got to win consistently. He's got. Put it this way: he's got to be a Mickey Ficky problem. He's got to be a Mickey Ficky problem for Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. Because if they come in and like, man, dude, well, they don't got to say nothing. The coaches will see it, and they're like, this dude is a problem for our guys. All right, he beats him with speed. All right, then they catch him, and once he realizes he lost with speed, he has the ability to plant and spin. All right, plant and club. He's gotten stronger. All right, if he's getting guys on stalemates, what are his secondary moves once his primary move is negated? That's what you got to see. And then you got to see different second. So his primary move is this. Say it's speed. Okay, well, what's his? He's got to have about 3 to 4 different secondary moves.
Or one really solid counter.
That's what I mean. Like the count. That's what I mean. A counter. It's like when they beat you here, what do? You know, if they decide they get you on the hip and they start pushing you past the quarterback, what do you do? All right, if they get their hands on you and lock up, what do you do? So he's got to have a wide variety. He's got to have an arsenal in his bag, okay, and not be afraid to use them, whichever one is pertinent in that particular rep. Because when you start seeing a guy using different moves, like, oh snap, okay, all right. Now he may not win all those with the secondary moves, but guess what? The fact that he has them, he's worked on them. He's going. You know, if he's worked on them, he's going to continue to work on them. Then he's going to start getting better because it's a whole different story when you're playing against the guy. Because remember, he's going up against Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. After about a week or so, they're going to know his game. They're going to know exactly what he does, what he likes to do, his tendencies. It's just human nature. We're all human.
Right.
They're going to pick up on it.
So,
but you're not going to pick up on it if you're a Texan. You can only watch film so much. You don't understand what he's going to do. You know what I mean? It's fresh meat. You know how it was when you got a new team, you scrimmage against another team, Nomad. That was fresh meat. You're like, whoo, Charlie. I don't got to go with the same guys because this guy got my number. All right, he's not better than me. He's a second stringer, but he's got my number. Yeah. This guy don't know jack spit about me. So hey, I can use my move there. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. A lot of fun.
I'm coming right back at you, Sean, because you just hit a very good point. After a while, it is important to get fresh meat in there and some scrimmages against new people because for exactly the reasons John just said. They get used to you. But here's another thing, Sean. This is and for any of you guys that have plans on going out to the any of the scheduled public practices, throw a one up in the comment section. This statement right here is for you. This is when you know if you really want to know about Austin Booker, whether or not how many snaps he's going to get come regular season. If you go out there and watch that practice. And those one-on-ones I just described to you, when they're throwing them against ones on a constant basis, trying to measure how good he can be and can he win against these ones, Braxton and Darnell, for example. If he's consistently winning against those guys, he's going to get more snaps in game. I'm not saying he's going to start over DeMarcus Walker. That's going to determine whether or not he gets a lot of snaps or very few. If he's consistently beating the ones in practice and drills and 7-on-7s and whatever, scrimmages they have lined up for him to compete against the ones. If he's consistently beating the ones, you'll see a lot of snaps from Austin Booker. Do you agree with that, Sean?
Yeah. It's easy to say it starts in the one-on-ones, okay? Because if you win in one-on-ones, like, okay, well, I need to see what else this guy can do. But you also have to understand if you can play off of somebody else, okay? If you can really play off of somebody else, because here's the thing. Some people might not be good individually, but they're great as a member of a unit. So you come across twists, then now you use your speed, all right, and you have a bit of an advantage coming off a twist, a tight end attack, a TE stunt or ET stunt, all right, and you come off. You might not be able to beat a guy one-on-one, but guess what? Your speed might allow you to have an advantage coming off that twist. So you need to check both. So if you're winning one-on-ones, you're going to get time. But if you're losing the one-on-ones, it's not necessarily a bad thing. All right, because they say, okay, well, let me see you over here. Because if I can move him, if I can get him in motion, I can get him crossing and crisscrossing, or hell, sometimes you might even flare out. Sometimes we have the nose and the tackle flare out. The tackle would flare out, have the have contained. The nose would come around, and the defensive end would come inside, go right up the gut. All right, can this guy do that? So we'd have to watch both. But the easiest way for them to get noticed is in the one-on-ones. It's not a death sentence if you're not destroying and winning all the one-on-ones. It's just coaches are going to have to be a little more attentive in the team drills. And they have team drills. They'll go guard center. They'll go right side. They'll go left side. Right side, you have the 3-tech in the end. The right side, you have the 1-tech in the other end. All right, and you'll go at it like that and then switch. You have the strength, the 1-tech in the end on. So it's going to be fun. But you have to know what you're looking at. Don't just say, oh, he lost all his he didn't win a lot of one-on-one reps. He's going to lose. No. It's not just like that, because you don't go one-on-one all the time. You're part of a team, and you have to stunt. You have to twist. You have to loop around. There's a whole bunch of things. And if that's what you're good at, then guess what? That's where they're going to fit you in.
I don't know about you guys, but my chat has completely stopped, kids. I don't know what's going on, but if you want to post some comments, you can. But my chat is going dead. Absolutely dead. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Brian.
Oh, I was just what Sean was saying. If I don't know how they're going to line up, I'm just assuming here. If Booker is playing the end and Dexter is beside him, if Booker is being such a annoying gnat to the tackle that the guard has got to help that tackle, that would free up Dexter to beeline to the quarterback. Is that kind of what you're saying, Sean?
No, because Dexter will be a 3-tech, so he's not. The guard's not going to be able to help because he can, but that means the center's going to have to help, because if the guard's going to go out on the end, the center, because most likely the center would peel back if there's nobody. If there's nobody over the center, your center's going to peel back, and he's going to help wherever. All right, if you're in meetings, you're going to see, okay, this combo is a problem for some teams. So if you're uncovered, okay, or if your guy slants away and it's a pass pro, okay, they're gonna tell you, okay, I need you to shade to this side because of this problem, or I need to shade to this side, whatever. So it's not necessarily that's what they're gonna have. They're gonna have all that worked out in the week. So
would that free up, say, Edmonds to rush in for a sack?
If you want to blitz, yeah, you can. You want to blitz?
Well, before you
I'm
guys
just saying that because
go ahead, Brian. Finish your thought.
I'm just saying that blitz option, because Washington did blitz more at Buffalo than what Flus does. And I don't know how much Flus is going to use Washington's expertise. I mean, he'd be foolish if he don't use it that much, but that's another argument. And I'm just trying to, in my mind, process what you're saying, how Booker could be effective even if he's not winning the one-on-one battles. But you explained it well.
But you can use the speed. You can use, if you're not getting, so you want, say, just for example, we want Edmonds to blitz. Cool. You can have Edmonds, or you want to free up Booker. You can have a linebacker go B gap, all right, or go C gap, and Booker come around. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the nose. It doesn't have to be the 1-tech or the 3-tech. You can send a backer to it inside to a gap, okay, and then have that end move around. There's so many different things you can do as a defensive coordinator, okay, to get certain people free, okay. And here's the thing: is if what you do is if you want your linebacker to basically to be the contain, all right, and you want your defensive end to come up the middle, okay, your defensive end could engage with the tackle and then come around. The tackle looks, oh snap, here comes the, that handoff, so to speak, that exchange of who's got the edge. That if that's quick with that linebacker, man, it can be very effective.
Well, let me switch it up, man, a little bit, because I've got like 7 other guys to talk about, but we're only going to be able to get to a couple, and we'll be real quick about this, because here's where I'm going with this. So when the pads come on, there's some measurables you can kind of determine when you watch the film, and in the off season when we start scouting these guys and doing shows on them. in particular, a couple of guys come to mind when it comes to people rising. And I'm not saying nobody's going to fall here. What I'm saying is pay attention to these two guys in particular. One who's he's a little bit less physical of a guy, and he tends to be more of a playmaker when the ball is in the air, and that's Reddy Stewart. You won't look at his tape and say, okay, this dude will knock the bejesus out of you. You won't see that on tape. But he's a tackler. He's a willing tackler. And that's really all you need to be. You don't have to be that head buster out there. That's not going to be his game. So you can early on say that when the pass come on, he's definitely going to have to make his hay with this team when that ball is in the air. Will he make plays on the ball? And so I'm mentioning him before I pass it to you kids, while also mentioning a guy who I think will his game lends to the idea that he plays a very physical brand of football, and that's Jamry Chroma, who I will rightly tell you right now, when the pads come on, expect that guy to shine. He's very physical. I mean, extremely physical. And so you can see that, you can imagine that dude is going to rise and shine a little bit more when the pads come on, because he plays a physical brand of football. So let's just talk about those two guys right quick, kids.
We're talking Reddy Stewart. You're right. He's not the most physical human being out there, but what he is in your back pocket. And saying that about a corner on the outside is one thing, but for a guy in the slot, that's interesting, right? He's right in there breaking stuff up, and he's just got instincts. He's going to be around the ball, and the ball's likely going to wind up in his hands. So I think all those things will come to fruition as we move forward. Big shout out to FFG Style for the super chat, brother. We appreciate it. Washington will scheme guys open this season, and I kind of believe that from a blitz perspective, we're going to be a little bit more exotic across the board down there. So FFG, I'm with you. I'm just worried, like, to touch on your topic here. I'm just worried that I'm just worried that Flus may kind of put the kibosh some of the cool stuff Washington might have up his sleeve. Right, he may be able to utilize these guys a little bit differently than we've seen in the past, and if that has an effect, I'm happy. So if we get back to Chroma, he's got a couple of guys in front of him. I'm just not sure. Like, there's a lot of development happening on that defensive line, man. There's a lot of development happening. There's Gravon. There is your Zach Pickens. Then we're talking about a Jamry Chroma. There's also a Keith Randolph in there somewhere too. No, right? Like there's.
Remember, we're trying to do some shorts out of here, kids. So let's just stick to those two guys.
I know. I'm just saying it's a deep list there, and I hope you're right though. Like I hope his physicality stands out and carves a bit of a path for him moving forward, because he's a bowling ball. He's a motor. And I like that about him. I just believe the same two things I just said, with a little bit of and then some and some hot sauce as far as Javon Dexter is concerned. I think he's a bowling ball and a motor, and it just worries me about the guys behind him. Anyways, Sean, I'll throw it down to you.
Well, Reddy he's a playmaker.
Yeah.
All right. He's a ball hawk, and we talked about measurables. That's out the door. No one gives a damn how tall you are, what your vert is. No one gives a damn. Do you knock that ball loose? Do you create turnovers, takeaway? All right. If you do, you got a spot. There are some people who just have a nose for the ball. There's just some people who create turnovers. That's what they do. Okay. So he's got a shot. If he can continue, do you think on God's green earth, you're going to get rid of a guy or put him on a practice squad? So think you can hide him on a practice squad if he's making? What if this guy creates one turnover every preseason game? He creates one. Yeah. You don't think people are going to scoop him up like in a heartbeat? Hell yeah. He's got a spot on this roster. You have to protect him because you don't want him being on a team that you play against, creating turnovers against you. All right. People who take the ball away. Why do you think everyone was so crazy about Jalen Johnson? All right. And there is so much pushback against him getting a big contract, before last year was because he didn't take the ball away. But if you get a guy who takes the ball away, creates turnovers, that's gold. Gold, Jerry, gold. Okay? Chroma, if alignment,
Yes.
assignment, attitude. I'm glad you got it. Alignment, assignment, attitude. Well, we know he got the attitude. Now he needs the alignment and assignment. Can you win your one-on-ones? Can you, and do it in a very physical fashion? If you just, and I don't know how long it'll take for him to be able to manhandle people on a consistent basis, because you're stepping up in class now. But it doesn't mean it hasn't been done before. It doesn't mean it won't be done again. Can he be the next dude who learns, who could just manhandle guys, who could create a stalemate? If you create a stalemate, you've won. All right? Their job is to move you. Your job is to move you. And I'm talking run plays, of course. You don't want to stalemate on a pass play. But if on run plays you create a stalemate, you've won. All right. Now, can he, with his violent hands, can he get to? I don't even care about the sacks. I just need pressure. I need him to move a quarterback off a spot here, there. All right, let me pull it down. So instead of me throwing out, I can't because this D lineman was going to eat me for lunch. I got to step up and back around. That buys time. Can he do that? The physicality part of it, he'll be fine. But can he? What did we talk about before? What type of secondary? How many secondary moves does he have? We'll find out.
All right,
Brian.
So, sorry, Brian. I just
when you look.
Go ahead. Go, Brian.
Oh, when you look at Reddy Stewart as RAS score, he has no business being any more than high school. But when you look at the tape, the guy is sticky. And what I say about him, the ball finds him. And what I mean by that, even if he's not near the play and somebody else deflects the pass, it's like the ball goes right to him. It's like the family dog you're playing fetch with. He's strictly going to be, a slot corner, which normally you want versatility, but as strong as this secondary is, that's okay. I think he's going to be a awesome special teams guy too. He has that sixth sense that either you got or you don't have. As far as Chroma, I like him. He has that nonstop motor. To me, he seems like Walker 2.0. I like him better as a 3 tech because as an end, he don't seem to have the bend. I mean, he's a pretty good sized guy. 6'4", 275. That's a big defensive end. But I think in his career, he could be exactly what Walker. If you need him to play in, he'll do fine. You're going to get hustle. I think he'd be more productive as a 3 tech. Nomad.
Well, I mean, I think everybody's everybody's hitting all the right notes in this song. It is, when it comes to pads, and Sean can tell this story anytime, any day. Like I can remember guys coming and trying out when those opportunities came. Walking on the team, and those guys were playing with some with some determination. They didn't get a scholarship. They wanted to walk on the team and show that because I didn't get a scholarship, don't think that I can't play football. I'm gonna come out here and show you guys. And then, and there's a period, before pads went on, and you got guys flying all over the place, doing a lot of good stuff. And then when those pads came on, boy, I'm telling you right now, it got a little different. You know what I mean? And that's what we're dealing with. It's not like these guys were excellent in college. I'm not expecting them to come in here and the pads come on and they turn into straight up weenies out there. No, that's not going to happen. But this is professional. These are the best of the best. And in order for you to keep those pads on for this team, you're going to have to rise above the man in front of you. And so the question is, when those pads come on, who rises and who doesn't, and who do you have to rise above to get where you want to go? And for somebody like Reddy Stewart, he's going to have to be better than probably Greg Strom at the minimum. He's going to have to be better than Greg Stroman or or Blackwell, one of those two guys. You know, those two guys are pretty physical football players. Blackwell is a willing tackler. He's not a head buster either. Strowman will hit you. You know what I mean? And he can play in coverage too. So it's a tall order for Reddy Stewart. Don't get this twisted. He's not going to easily make this team. Someone just said it. Poe said it's going to be hard to make this team. That's a particular area where I know the competition is going to be the most fierce. And that's in that cornerback room. You want to make this team, you're going to have to flat out be a stud. Flat out. And I think Jamari Chroma, I think he has let's just say a less steep hill to climb, but steep hill to climb as well. You know what I mean? I think he can make this team, and I think he can make this team probably fairly easy if he shows a semblance of what he did in college, if he shows that quickness, that determination, that nonstop motor, and just constantly flashes to these coaches, he will make this team. You know, who he beats out, that's a different question. But that being said, we did not get to all the subjects that I wanted to get to, all the players that we wanted to get to, but we'll pick it up on the next show, I guess on Sunday. We'll talk about that stuff then, man. But we got to get ready to give some shout outs and pleasantries before we get ready to get out of here.
So that's usually my department. Levante Rogers, what it do? Squeegee's with us. Robert Lee, thanks for coming through. The Nodge joined up with us today. That's perfect, the Nodge. Thanks for your time. Richard Long was out there with us. FFG Style, Hank the Basement. Rex Smith. Who else we got? There's a couple of people. Oh, Florida Bears fan, King Booker World. Yo, good to have you, King Booker, as always. Oh, Jason, respect. We will keep up the good work. Thanks for the super chat. We always appreciate the support and the love. Always love for Patty Laura. Thanks for holding it down for us as always, Patty. Same thing with you, Junior. AC Adams with us. I think did I say Robert Lee? If I didn't, Robert Lee, big ups to you, and thanks for joining us today as well. Superback, I'll throw it down to you guys. No Maniacs. Before I do, actually, Sean, let's just give a little bit of love to the future.
Booyah. Go ahead, Sean.
Back, it's on to you.
Sorry. So sports owners and Maniacs unite. All right, it was great to talk football again. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel. All right, go there, subscribe. It's free 99, so you don't got to worry about it. It doesn't cost you a thing. All right, make sure you do that. Like you follow Nomad Network, and we just give you good work. You know, I can't wait for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow I'll be on at 9 a.m., and I got a lot to talk about tomorrow. Holy cow. And I talk all sports, not just Bears. I know a lot of stuff. Caught myself. I know some things. All right, I know a lot of things. You know, we got Bears to talk. All right, we got the stadium. All right, we got a little this talk. We got to talk the sky. We got to talk the Bulls. All right, what they're doing with DeMar. We got a whole bunch of stuff. To talk. So make sure you tune in 9 a.m. to 11 Central Time tomorrow. Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel. It's going to be good. We got Blackhawks signings. All right, draft, the signing. Whoo, we got tons of stuff. And I'm waiting for confirmation for 2 guests I put out there. So we will have, it's going to be fun. So get at me, see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. And I'll be talking all Chicago sports. All right, but again, like I tell my friends and my loved ones, tell your loved ones you love them. All right, enjoy it. It's the 4th of July week, so do us a favor. Use these holidays to reach out to family, friends, loved ones. If you don't, invite them over, get together, and if you can't, just because of distance or whatever, just shoot them a quick text, shoot them a voice memo, just say, hey, hope you and the family are doing well. I'll tell you what, it means a lot. Because, man, today is the 1-year anniversary of a friend of mine, the passing of his mom. All right, that shit flies like crazy. Okay, so how many times he didn't realize he wasn't going to have a 4th of July with his mom last year. He didn't realize he was going to have a Labor Day with his mom, or Thanksgiving, or Christmas, and so on and so forth. So make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, okay? Because we just literally never know how many more we have. On that note, I'm going to kick it over to Brian. And again, check me out tomorrow 9 a.m. to noon, 9 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. to 11, Central Time on Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel. Brian?
Well, once again, no Maniacs and Sports Zoners. Always to have fun talking to you guys. Same with the guys on the panel. Great show today. Hope everybody has a safe, wonderful week. The 4th of July is a little bit special for me because it's my sister's birthday. She's older than me, so I won't say her age and embarrass her. But yeah, have fun, eat a lot, have a wonderful, safe week. And as far as Sports Zone Chicago tomorrow, I am damn sure going to be there because I know how fired up the Superback is with all the news. So definitely, I'll be there. And if anybody's like me on Eastern time, that will be 10 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock Central time. So have fun. Love you all. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate
real quick. Tomorrow, I'm going on a rant. If you like Chicago sports, I'm going on a rant, and here's why. Tim Anderson got DFA today for the Florida Marlins, which means basically he got cut. Okay, this is all Jerry Reinsdorf's fault, and I'm going to tell you why.
On the next episode of Sports Zone Chicago,
Sean, I'm
I love
setting
it.
my clock because I don't want to miss a second of the show.
I love it. Sean's fired up. Hey, y'all, I just wanted to give 2 quickies before we get out of here. Happy 4th of July. We won't be seeing you between now and then. Happy 4th of July. Eat, drink, be merry, spend good time with your family and friends. To my Canadians out there, happy Canada Day. We just had it. I ate, I drank, and I was very merry. We'll leave it there. I'm now sober and good to go. So you guys pick up where I left off. Nomad.
All right, man. I appreciate all that, man, and blessings to everybody, man, and good vibes and spirit to everybody. You enjoy your holiday weekend, man. Enjoy this. This is I don't know how everybody honors or acknowledges the 4th of July. It's not for everybody. So if you do celebrate the 4th of July for whatever reason, man, please be safe about it. It's a lot of ways to get out here and get yourself hurt. You know what I mean? You can catch a stray, one of these bottle rockets. You know what I mean? Just like
don't KPP yourself.
What you say?
Don't KPP yourself.
Yeah. I usually, when I'm around, 4th of July celebrations and around my people, and I usually keep a pair of specs on, a pair of shades, just in case or something like that. You know what I mean? Just, how people act, just having too much fun, drinking and carrying on. Next thing you know, you find off, you probably know somebody that probably got an eye taken out or hurt or something like that during celebrations, man. So, man, definitely take care of yourself out there and be safe with whatever you're doing and celebrate it, and just make sure you have fun no matter what you're doing. But that being said, I appreciate everybody for being here. Don't forget Sunday. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be on, but I'm pretty sure we'll have a solid guest this week. It might be Alex Shapiro. It might be Braggs. I don't know. But we'll find out, and hopefully, it's going to be a good show. If it's Alex Shapiro, I have a few particular questions that I want to ask him and kind of give him a little homework assignment for us to check out when he does go to camp. But man, hopefully we gave you the football content you were looking for today. We got into the weeds with it, kind of determining who you thought might, shine or not shine when the pads came on. I think we did a pretty good job. We didn't get to all the players that I wanted to, but that's okay, man. We got another show to do this week, and we'll get to it then. But you guys enjoy your 4th of July and have a good time, man. I'm gonna do a little bit of drinking and relaxing, man. I ain't gonna probably do a lot of drinking. I ain't gonna even lie to you, man. But either way it goes, I'm gonna have me some fun. So I expect you guys to be doing the same. Appreciate everybody for being here. And before we get out of here, I always gotta leave you with some inspiration. If you can think it, you can see it, you can manifest it. With that being said, we have got to go. Peace out.